This one's got to get down. All right, this should be the Xaviere PRO840 Tele style guitar. This box came like this, which is a little concerning. Its tape's not broken, but it's all but open at the end. There's a puncture wound here. Doesn't feel super crushed, but you know, UPS, man, what are you gonna do? Guitar. Allen wrenches, rubber band. Ooh, that's cold. That's a cold guitar. Very nice. Looks like what it's supposed to look like. Decent heft. I'm gonna guess this is exactly the same neck that I just bought, which I might put in this video. The XGP. Just a guess, but judging from the shape of the headstock and the general shape of the neck, where the heel comes down, thinking this might be their XGP series neck. I'm gonna assume these tuners are trash, but we'll find out. But yeah, looks nice. Rosewood fingerboard, actual rosewood, because I guess it's not illegal again somehow. Inlays look pretty good. Frets look like they probably need to be polished. They actually don't look like the medium jumbos. They look a little smaller than medium jumbos, but it's like the fit on everything is pretty good. Let's some close-ups. Yeah, pretty nice. Single binding. Probably replacing that input jack, output jack. And the headstock, which is much more telly shaped than it used to be. Between you, me, and the wall, I'll probably end up taking that logo off. It's a little sanding. String trees are down really far. Even for a dual string tree guitar, that seems excessively far down. The break angle for these two strings is way more than for the E and the A. So typically you'd see the first one where the second one is, and the third one closer to here, I think. So, but that's no big deal. I don't mind removing and moving those if necessary. But we'll see how it plays. It's gonna definitely cause the break angle to be a little more severe, which might improve the tone. Anyway, it looks pretty nice. I'm gonna eat some oatmeal, and then I'm going to tune her up and see what kind of shape things are in. Yeah, Xaviere PRO840. So we got some full-size pots. Pickups have pushback wire, although it looks, you know, kind of cheap. It's not like the real deal, air quotes. Not pushback on component to component, but looks fairly clean. Solder's cap. PCB switch, which, you know, if it works, it works. Always a little bit, I don't know, they seem chintzy to me, but that's what you're gonna get on most sub $1,000, sub $800 guitars these days. I haven't plugged it in yet, but I'm just kind of doing not even really setup, well, a little bit of a setup. I straightened the truss rod a hair. It wasn't too far off, but did that and adjusted my saddles a bit. And if you'll notice, Let's see if I can get a decent shot. Maybe not. The action on the high E side, and I should probably just measure this to make it more obvious. It's not terrible. I could play it, but it's probably not ideal, not for a 12-inch radius. Problem is, that saddle, I cannot get an angle lower than that, is as low as it'll go without just sitting on the base plate. So I'll just take this opportunity to say, hey, you know what would fix that is if you made that neck a little thicker. But what also will fix it is to shim the neck a bit. But so I'm gonna plug in, see how the electronics are working, see if it sounds all right, or better than all right would be even better. First impression of these tuners is they're not as bad as other reviews have led me to believe they would be. So maybe it's a different tuner that's on these Pro, insert air quotes here, the Pro models, but they feel smooth. So we'll see how they operate with heavier testing. I'm gonna assume this is like their 60s style pickups. I don't really know. I can't remember what we're in here. It's the quick plug, some of their quick plug models, but they're not staggered. So maybe 60s. I'll have to look it up and see what the specs are. But I'm gonna set the intonation as close as I can get it, and then I'm gonna plug her in. Okie dokie, artichoke. This again is the Xaviere from Guitar Fetish, the PRO840. Reasonably traditional headstock. Rosewood fingerboard, back to rosewood now for the time being at least. I don't know what the body is. Put it up on the screen. Alder, ash, basswood, who knows? Everything else is pretty traditional T-style. Brass saddles, 2 pickups, volume tones, 3-way switch, all that good stuff. All the specs that you can read. So just so far I'll go from headstock down. Tuners, okay, not great, not terrible. There's a little slack between detune and retune, a little play. It's not crazy loose, and they're certainly not the worst tuners I've used. You can tune with them. I think they'll keep the guitar in tune. They don't seem to be slipping or anything like that, but you definitely have to tune up to the note to get there. If you have to detune, you'll be probably, it'll be difficult. But they are what they are. $30 get you a set of Wilkinsons that would well outperform them, I would think. These are weird position for these string trees, but they don't seem to be hurting anything. Nut seems to be cut okay. I haven't noticed any buzzing, at the nut or causing any weird binding or anything like that. Frets are, I would say it's like a medium to medium low in terms of the rating of the fret dress. It's it's typical for like a Squire. They're not going to cut your hand, but they're definitely not great. And I've already ground down some stuff, but you're getting a little bit of grit. Definitely not a high polish. Far from it, but they're okay, and there's no sprouts or weirdnesses as far as that's concerned. So fit and finish on the body seem to be really good. I think it looks great. It's just all traditional. It's exactly what I was hoping it would be in terms of the look, and the weight is good. It's not too heavy, not too light. Right in the middle, I'd say, of the 12 or so tellies I've got here. So intonation set fairly well. Well, let me say this first. Neck pickup. I spend most of my time in the neck pickup, almost all the time, as a matter of fact. So that's the most important thing to me from a tonal standpoint. And I like the tone of this pickup quite a bit. I have a lot of, 3 or 4 guitars here with the newer American original 50s pickup set in them. One of those guitars is a cheaper Squire that I've done some work to. And I like the tone of this pickup better than I like the tone of the Fender American Original in that guitar. But the caveat is this is super duper low output. That pickup set is fairly low output. My 52 reissue from 2003, I think, is low output, lower output than probably the newer Fenders are. And this is lower output than all that. So I'm not really sure if that's the way it's supposed to be. I don't hear a problem with the pickup, and I like the tone. It's got nice clarity. Warmth. So, I don't know. I'm torn on it yet. Because if this was balanced in the same output, I wouldn't care. But this pickup is almost sitting on the bridge plate now. And you'll hear the difference. Let me just do this. Full volume, full tone, everything. Neck, bridge. That neck is, man, it's getting close to the same height as the fretboard. And this is almost against the bridge plate. So output is still, on a stroke like that, still pretty hot, quite a bit hotter on the bridge, and it's down as low as it'll go. It's down so low, actually, that the springs, the screws are probably beyond the springs length, because they are really loose in there. And so it's tough for me to even review that back pickup like that, which I won't even do, actually. I'll go ahead and raise it up a bit, because it's obviously not designed to be sitting right there on the bridge plate, but in order to get a balanced output, that's about where I had to have it. So this is a little more reasonably placed, so we'll see if that changes this. I'm pretty bad at judging bridge pickups, to be honest with you, but that one seems a little bit pretty harsh compared to the American Originals. And again, not apples to apples. These are probably 9s. I used at least 10s. These are the stock strings. Everything's stock so far. But it's not terrible. And I didn't set up this amp setting in Helix to be for this pickup. So, grain of salt. But so with that there, let's see, this is where the middle position ends up. So that sounds pretty cool. And just lost my pick. Whoa, just lost my light. Cats. Gotta be careful with cats, kids. They'll get you every time. This is back in neck. Middle. So let me just go. That's middle. Neck. So these both still have some chime. I'd say if I was to pull up, as a matter of fact, let me do this. I'll do a cut here. Oh, let me mention this first. Check this out. You hear that? I might have to turn up, and if this is YouTube, they probably compressed it, but that is quite a bit of buzz. More than I'm used to, even on a telly, even on a single coil when I'm in this room. Might be this light. It's probably this light. Let's find out. Let's go to another guitar. So let me do this. I'll do some A's sustain. So I'll do. This is all going to be a neck. And then. How about the 52? Same thing. Cut. Okay, I never quit rolling. No idea if this is probably not in tune. Get my tuner here. Come on, come on, come on. Gonna be a lot of cutting. A lot of cutting. So this is the 52 reissue. This is 52 reissue. It's actually got a Warmoth neck on it right now. It's a boat neck. It's pretty close to the original in terms of the thickness and size, but it's got some different things going on. So, but plays great. So this is my number one. Same thing on this neck. So definitely more chime out of those pickups and definitely more output. Oh. I don't know, I just played. So, you know, maybe not that big of a difference. Maybe it's hard to judge it while you're doing it. But keep in mind, this was $195-ish with the little holiday discount, and that was $1,300. So, also that one's been set up, and this one has just been given 15 minutes of love. So, all that said, the action in order to get that clarity is pretty high. You probably can't tell. It's not ridiculously high, but for nines, which is again just an assumption, but it feels like nines to me, it's pretty high. It would be. I would feel like if I was gonna do a gig on this, I'd be pretty exhausted by the end of the gig. But it's not ridiculous, and I am getting pretty clean, all up and down, headstock. I feel like every once in a while there's a little noise coming through, but I can't tell right now where. But anyway, that is middle again. Obligatory Joe Satriani chord. That's the Pro 840. I think it's a comfortable guitar. So never showed you the back. Ferrules are not flush. Actually, the E is flush. The rest are sitting just a hair above. And again, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what you guys expect for that price, like where you want them to put the level of detail. Where I want them to put the level of detail, as somebody who can do a reasonable job setting up a guitar, knows how to do things like filing, or for that matter, someone that doesn't mind bringing it to a luthier or a guitar tech. I want to make sure things like the neck is actually set in straight. So I've got the same distance between the E strings on the fretboard, and that's squared up with the bridge. You know, I want the fit of things to be number one. So that's actually the very first thing that I want on any guitar, obviously, because if you don't have that, you're not going to probably gig with it. You're not going to be able to use it. If that's all right, a lot of the other stuff is fixable. So then I guess the question becomes, if you've got $200 to spend on a guitar, on a Tele, do you spend it on this one? and I haven't played every single budget telly out there. I have a Squier. What, I can't remember the name of the series. It's not the cheapest one. It's the one with the. Actually, it might be the cheapest one. It actually has string through, and you can usually find it for $159 on Musician's Friend, and I think that's a really good deal for a guitar. But there are things about it I don't like. There's aesthetic things I don't like. The body is not quite the full fender thickness. I think this one is. The neck on that one and this one are relatively thin, like a modern C. That's not my favorite thing. This has a 12-inch radius. I think the Squiers are probably 9.5, maybe 10. I'm not really sure. It might be some kind of weird thing. But the Squier necks feel thinner for some reason to me. I don't know why that is exactly. I don't know if the fretboard is a little wider or if the nut spacing is different. But, I don't think one is necessarily worlds better than the other. And the Squier that I have, I've done a lot of work to it, so it's hard to remember. I will say this. For those of you that haven't seen, I did a review on the Slick Strat that I got from those guys. And I still have that guitar, although it has a Warmoth neck on it now. But even when I got that guitar with the original neck, I thought that was a fantastic value. It played great, had jumbo frets that were polished, and out of the box, tune it up. I think maybe I put my own strings on it right away. And I really enjoyed that guitar. You can watch that review. And see if that helps you out. I only mention that because there's obviously Tellys in that line as well, and that's Guitar Fetish, and they're about the same price, a couple $100. So, that might be, if depending on what you're looking for in terms of finish, that might be a cooler option. But we'll call this First Impressions. First Impressions is pretty good. For an initial setup, I've certainly played guitars, Squiers, maybe even some like Fender Player series that didn't give me that nice of a tone. Right away. So. Yeah. So far, I'm digging it. I'll do a part 2. I'm going to take it all apart, take the neck off, do the things that I would, kind of normally do. I wanted to do a review of it just totally stock after just a kind of a bare bones, not even setup, but just adjustment, I guess. And with that, for however long this has been, 15 minutes, I think it's pretty good. I'd say I'd rate it giggable, but your hand might hurt. And of course, everybody plays differently. If you play lighter than I do with your right hand, you could probably drop the action down a little bit. I could definitely, get cowboy chords, chords with open strings, that kind of thing. If you're doing mostly strumming, I could have gotten the action lower for that stuff in particular with a light right hand. But I do quite a bit of percussive picking and kind of like, hybrid stuff where I'm definitely a little bit more aggressive with it. Anyway, I'm going to get this up now because I don't think I've seen a review posted yet for these guys. Yeah, solid guitar for the money. I mean, I'm old enough to just be amazed at what you can get for a couple $100 now. Certainly, back in my day, it wasn't even possible. But it's definitely a contender, and we will be back as soon as possible to give you guys a part B, part 2, with the well-dressed version of the guitar. But right now, I got to go to a gig. Y'all have fun.